Hi, I'm Payton Zolck, and welcome back to another episode of Living with Mother Earth. In this episode, I talk with Charlie Onorati from Save the Bay about the different impacts we have on the Bay, some of the restoration that the Save the Bay is doing, and some of the things that you can do to help.
Kind of around the gold rush is when people really started coming to the Bay in very large numbers and really fast. And they needed places to stay and places to, open businesses and all of that stuff, because the habitat which we work to restore currently is right along the shoreline. It is on average very shallow. It was pretty easy to just bring in garbage or soil from uplands and dump it there, pour cement on top and build new buildings. Kind of covering all of that habitat up to build things for us. Then we started seeing more pollution with just tons and tons of people moving here. There wasn't many safeguards for the Bay. There wasn't an institution looking after the health of the Bay until 1961, which is when our organization was founded. So we are out there actively restoring tidal marsh around the Bay. Right now we have at least 7 different locations where we're either growing native plants or we have restoration projects where those native plants are going. Our policy work is centered around helping local governments make better decisions to protect the Bay. Recently, we started a new initiative called Basemark Communities, which really focuses on issues like affordable housing, bicycle infrastructure, public transit access, things like that will reduce impacts on the Bay. We work in tidal marsh, so we plant wetland plants, and we work specifically in the transition zone. When you boil it down, we collect native plants from different areas of the Bay. We have permits to do that. We sow those seeds in our nurseries. We grow plants from that. We transplant those baby plants into individual pots. They grow over the summer in our shade house and our greenhouses. And then in the winter, when it's nice and wet, we take all of those plants out and plant them individually in their little zones. So one thing that we always talk about is ecosystem services. And those are benefits that humans get from different types of ecosystems and habitats. Wetlands, it turns out, are amazing in terms of the services that they provide humans. One is they are habitat for lots of different wildlife. And in the Bay, specifically, the salt marsh harvest mouse and the Ridgway's rail are both endangered species. So it's super important to make sure that the habitat is there and intact and that there's more of it over time to bring these endangered species back from that status to a more sustainable level in their population. Wetlands are filters of pollution, so they are good for water quality. They can filter out physical garbage that comes from our cities through our storm drains. And there are microorganisms that live in wetland soil that are known to break down harmful chemicals too. Wetlands, I think, most importantly, are really good at monitoring climate change. They sequester carbon at a faster rate than forests. And they also are super important in protecting our communities from sea level rise. They act as a buffer between shoreline communities and the rising sea level and storm surge during big winter storms. I would encourage everyone to educate themselves, raise awareness. One thing that we also talk about a lot in terms of pollution prevention is paying attention to the amount of waste that you create. We can all be together. Again, I would encourage everyone to come out and volunteer.
Reporting for Scott Center News, I'm Payton Zolck.